This is Jen, and you're listening to the Booty League podcast. Also, F Royce. Just kidding. Love
Yo,
you.
what's up? Welcome to episode 2 of the Booty League podcast. I'm David,
I'm Chris.
and today we have a special guest.
What's up? It's Vin.
All right, let's start off with breaking news slash waiver wire talks. This week was a pretty eventful waiver wire, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
People blew like a quarter or maybe
Their
half of their
third.
fab.
Yeah.
So let's start with
Yeah, I think
talk.
I audibly freaked out at how much money was being spent when it went through.
What were your thoughts about the waiver wire, Vin? Just initial thoughts. Why were you freaking out about?
Because it was a lot of money, dude. Week 2, and you're already blowing 1/4 of your budget.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that in a little bit because awesome. Let's break down what we got going, right?
Yep.
Some significant ones was Nick winning out on Mike Davis with $71. Marcus only bet $22, David?
Yeah, Marcus is the Christian McCaffrey owner, and he only bet $23 on Mike Davis, and that was way too low. I don't know what Marcus was thinking about that. I would love to hear what he was thinking. But yeah, Nick won with 71.
That's a lot of money. That's 35%. I think he was saying from what he had. And the next big boy one that nobody expected. You guys,
I mean, definitely not.
Royce dropped 50 bones. It's 25% of his budget on Keelan Cole. And the next closest bid was $4. But Vin, what were you thinking about? Did you think you were gonna get Keelan Cole?
Well, I mean, I put like a $4 feeler on him. I didn't think anybody else was that. Me personally, I wasn't even that high on him. That's why I only put $4. And then Royce comes out, blows me out of the water with this $50 bid, which was the next highest. Royce probably hurting after that one.
Yeah, Royce is definitely.
Especially since he owns both Jags receivers.
Really?
DJ does he has DJ Chark.
No, I have DJ. He has DJ Moore.
Oh, he has DJ on that more.
Yeah, he has
on that
DJ
reach.
on that reach.
Sorry. But
Yeah.
still.
So I mean, Keelan Cole honestly probably isn't even the third option. You got DJ Chark, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got
Chris
James
Conley.
Robinson. Yeah. And you got was Chris Thompson for passing downs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Keelan
Laviska
Cole.
Shenault.
Yeah, Laviska Shenault too. So
Yeah.
Keelan Cole's pretty far down the pecking order. There's a guy that obviously only looks at the box score and doesn't actually watch the game. So it bites him for 50. But Vin, walk us
in the words of this league, you get your guy.
Yeah.
Go get your guy.
Vin, walk us through your waiver wire and what's going on in your mind when you're doing waiver wires this week, because you obviously lost Saquon, but you didn't come out with any running backs. So
yeah, I feel I did put some money in, but I wasn't really looking for like a Saquon replacement because I know I'm not going to find the Saquon replacement on the waiver this week, to be honest. So I was just filling out depth, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like I wasn't ready to blow 71 on Mike Davis. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
there's no for sure, plug and play starters on there for me. That's what I was thinking.
That was Wayne Gallman last year, though. I think he had one good week last year, and then he got injured right away.
And I told you I wasn't gonna bid on Dion Lewis. You're like, I better not see you bid, and I said I'm not gonna do it.
All right. I put in like a $10 feeler bid for Dion Lewis, but I knew I wouldn't win, and I didn't want Mike Davis or Daryl Henderson that bad. So, okay, so we'll hop right into our quick questions. Who is the hardest fantasy manager to trade with? I have an easy one for this one.
Can I go first?
Go ahead and go first.
Okay. I think Marcus is the hardest fantasy manager to trade with. One, it's hard to reach him. He's hardly in the group chat.
Yeah,
And number two, his team is, consistently good. So it's like he never finds it beneficial to trade with somebody else, because his team is always pretty solid.
yeah,
Like when I do ask him to trade, he's always like, "Oh, I don't need anybody."
yeah,
So that's why I feel like it's kind of hard to trade with them.
yeah. That was my pick too. And Marcus, like, if you do trade with him, he always wants the better side of the deal out of the trade. Like, I mean, he doesn't want a fair trade at all. He always wants to be straight up better. And yeah, and he like sometimes leaves you on red too, so that hurts the most. But what about you, Chris?
I would say Marcus was those same reasons.
Hmm.
I haven't looked into trading these charges. Been busy. I started off hot enough where I haven't been looking for trades. Like I was waiting kind of after this week to look at who kind of needs what after injuries and any Olin tours are tilting right now. Um, but with that being said, who was it? I blank out. Like after every season, I just kind of go out. Who's the one we would like grill? Was it Michael that would throw out like really bad trades?
Yeah, Michael's bad at trading.
Michael's bad at trading, and he's always looking for a trade.
So, I mean, you can always, if you need a good chat, you're more than welcome to reach out to Michael. But yeah, I would say Michael's one of the harder ones to trade with because he kind of throws you something and then you just kind of get turned off. You're like, I'm good. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna talk to
Michael always tries to lowball you.
you.
yeah, yeah. Michael actually sent me a trade text this morning or yesterday morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm like, I'm barely waking up, and I read it, and then he hits me with like David Johnson for like Cooper Cup, right? And he knows Cooper Cup's my boy. That's why he'd sent out that trade. And I'm like, hold up, Michael. It's way too early for me to read this and think about it. I'm gonna need you to come back in like 2 hours. And so like I woke up, I showered, and I said, hell no. Yeah, and so that next question is, who is the easiest fantasy manager to trade with? Uh, I'll start. I'd say Michael is the easiest. He's the hardest and the easiest to trade. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but
Yeah.
like once you start talking to him for a while, he gets pretty reasonable and he's always down to deal. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, I agree with you when you said that he was both the hardest and easiest because he's the hardest because you can never get a good deal. But if you really want a good, if you really want a trade, I can get one like tonight. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he is both the best and the worst, or the hardest and easiest.
The easiest would be, I think either James or Royce. Like, I remember like 1 year it was just like me, James, Royce, and Michael just trading and just losing. So I would say James and Royce are like Royce being a tilter that he is like easy to trade to, and I think James you can get some pretty decent value and some fair trades going on with James. So if you strike up good conversations and you have pieces, I think you should look towards those two.
And I think I could say that, Chris, you're a pretty easy person to trade with as well. I think we had some deals before, and we worked them out pretty well
Yeah, for
in
sure.
previous seasons.
Yeah.
Of course, we get to see one this year.
Has Vinh ever traded a player ever? I have no idea. I don't.
I think like a handful of times. Every time we call him on, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've traded this and this." I'm like, I don't remember that, but
It's not like blockbuster at
Like
all.
No.
he kind of has the Marcus syndrome where his team is usually pretty good too. So
yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
I
This
don't.
season is kind of like where you're seeing him. Like you might see trades from him this season.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like I put him in the hardest to trade category with Marcus too, because they like if they don't need it, then they'll just leave you on red or something, or like try
yeah.
to super scam you. All
All
right.
right.
That's how it goes.
So third question, sent in by a listener or one a league mate. Would you rather have Saquon's thighs or Nick Foles' dick?
I
Big
get,
dick Nick.
I would rather have Nick Foles' dick because I mean Saquon's thighs are just like they're huge. Like how are you gonna fit into any type of jeans? You probably won't even fit into basketball shorts, to be honest.
I
So
will also say Nick Foles, because if I really wanted Saquon's thighs, it could just work for them. But you got to be born with, you got to be blessed
Yeah.
with Nick Foles,
or
Nick
cursed,
Foles dick.
Or curse.
depending how
Or Kurt, I guess, yeah.
yeah, depending on the size, it could be a blessing and a curse.
I would rather have Saquon's thighs. I'm gonna switch it up on you guys. I would rather have Saquon's thighs just because I do enjoy working out. And if I had Saquon's thighs, I'd probably make it to NFL and make a lot of money. So
All right.
I'd be going for that.
And now we have our shot bet counter segment. We have a couple pretty big payout shots that come this week. We have 5 shots between myself and Royce. On the Jonathan Royce matchup, I have Jonathan winning, and Royce has himself, of course. But we'll talk more about that matchup later.
That's spicy.
Yeah, I want. Hey Royce, if you do it, record it on video, and if you send it to us, we'll put it up on the podcast on the screen next to us so everybody can see it. So, oh, and if you lose the 2 shots that Keelan Cole is outside the top 30, that's 7 shots. So record the 7 shots and send it over to the pod, and we'll put it up.
Is that for this week or is that for a year long?
No, that's this week.
Is that this week?
Yeah, James said this week.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought
All right.
on the Facebook message, but
Okay.
they'll clear that up with me. And our last shot bet is between everybody versus Chris. I guess the last
Yeah, we almost lost this week.
yeah,
It was looking pretty close for a while.
yeah,
Damn.
until the Monday Miracle. But
I
does
believe
Ty
it.
go 0-3? Vin? Ty go 0-3? Yes. Chris?
I gotta believe in him, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about it in the matchup.
Well, if Chris says yes, there's no shot bets. So
Yeah.
So
he's got to take one for the team.
We'll go down and see what's up below. Oh yeah, I didn't see any Alvin Kamara payouts yet, so that needs to come. I haven't seen them in our Snapchat.
Okay.
I think maybe just Nick paid, if anything, but I haven't seen anyone pay that one out. So I need to pay that one out myself just to be transparent about that.
That was like if he was getting paid or not, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I hit that one. That was right.
Okay. Yeah, so pay that out, or you can send me a video and we'll put it up on the screen. Whichever one you guys want to do. And the next segment that we have for you guys today is the trading block. Now, this is a new segment. We'll list off a couple players, like to temperature check on some players, and other players that we would trade for these players that we think are valued in the same tier. The first player is ODB. You want to start us off, Vin?
Yeah, I have him at like a high-end wide receiver too. I'm not too high on him. I probably wouldn't trade for him myself, but if I had to value him somewhere, high-end wide receiver too. He's just too fluky, dude. From week 1 to week 2. Yeah, I don't really like the low floor, high ceiling kind. Like for my team, especially now, since I'm hurting, kind of just need the solid floor players.
Gotcha.
Chris,
And I would say I would agree with you. I view him the same way. Boom bust. I think it was a plus matchup, if anything. And we'll see how the teams develop. Their defenses and their offenses as the season goes on. Like you could argue that week 1 everyone was rusty or something. So we'll see what happens with his ceiling as it goes on.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say as a high tier wide receiver too. I'd put him maybe in the middle. Wide or running backs that I would trade for in that range. Now I'm just spitballing here. Maybe Ronald Jones. Would you trade Ronald Jones for ODB?
I would. I don't know if James would take that though.
Yeah.
Would you here you would receive these players for ODB? Would you, let's see, David Johnson for ODB?
Oh, hands down, I would.
You would
Yeah,
receive
absolutely.
David Johnson.
I
I
would
would get
receive
David
David
Johnson.
Johnson.
So
hands
too
down.
high, too high. Okay, well I'll pull up some more players.
What about James Robinson? Would
Ooh,
you trade James Robinson for ODB?
Would I
I
change who?
James Robinson.
Oh, James Robinson. That's probably a question for David, right?
I would not
Yeah.
take that trade, but I also like play major favoritism to my players. So
Okay. At least you're honest about that.
So unbiased, I wouldn't take that either.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think running back, he's just not consistent enough to be worth a running back
Yeah, especially like a
type of trade.
surefire starter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Next
next, go ahead.
Next one's Julian Edelman. What are you guys takes on
Ooh.
Julian Edelman's big game? Led highest yards he had in a game before.
I think that was like a career game for him, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely am. If I was the Julian Edelman owner, I would definitely be selling high. I don't know if anybody would be buying because I still put him in that wide receiver 2 range, mid tier wide receiver 2. Oh, here's one: Julian Edelman for ODB straight up.
I would be the ODB side.
You would take
I would
ODB?
take Julian Edelman.
Oh, so
Okay.
they're the same type of player, right?
Well, I don't
Like,
know if Julian Edelman is not really like. Yeah, I know he had a big game, but he still has like a solid floor.
Yeah, I think he has a safer floor for sure.
Yeah. So that's why, yeah, I said the safer floor players. That's what I like. Plus, I don't even think it was a fluke. I think they're gonna get him the ball more often. I feel like him
Yeah.
and Cam finally hit their stride, and I think it's gonna be like this from now on. Probably not 179, but it's gonna be pretty good from now on. But it's Marcus, so I can't trade him.
uh,
Feelers out.
okay, and our next one is the Dion Lewis / Wayne Gallman. Where are you putting them? Rest of the season.
I don't think they have any trade
Not
value.
putting him anywhere. Devonta Freeman.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about. All right, and we'll add Devonta Freeman into that mix.
Giants running backs.
Yeah, where do you put them? Rest of the season. We'll say that.
I don't know. It's hard to gauge. I don't know if they're gonna go full committee.
Would you trade Cooper Cup for Devonta Freeman?
No.
No,
not.
to so if you had Devonta,
If I had Cooper Cup, I would not trade
mm,
Cooper Cup for him.
Okay.
would you trade?
I-
Go ahead.
I think that O-line's garbage. So
Yeah, I mean, if Saquon was getting, when he had like 6 yards on like 12 carries, Saquon, I don't think anybody's gonna do anything behind that line.
Yeah, that O line is just trash. So nothing more than a flex for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah,
Agree?
and a situational flex, in my opinion, too. It's not even like a safe plug and play.
All right. I guess
Or
this
maybe
one,
I'm just salty because I didn't get him.
this next one is for Chris for Michael Thomas. Hurt Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
What would you give up for him?
You also have to look at the owner involved. So if
Mm,
you're talking an 0-2 owner with a hurt Michael Thomas, it might be out several more weeks. I might be I would be shipping him. Just a little heads up, but his value.
what are you looking for
Also,
in return?
I think he needs a win. I think he needs a startable wide receiver, high end wide receiver 2, maybe like back end wide receiver 1.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like if he needs a running back, it'd be a running back 2, even like just because he's hurt and he's not playable right now. And if you buy a win, you'd ship him.
Would you ship him for like a 2-for-1 trade, like running back 2, wide receiver 2 for Michael Thomas?
Depending on team structure, I think I would. Being 0-2, and if you need some solid pieces that you can start, I would definitely, flip that for wide receiver 2 and running back 2.
Kevin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would if I was. Well, I am 2-0, but I probably won't be making that trade. But if I was like, Fulp or something, Marcus, I probably would ship out. Maybe he has like a pretty good wide receiver that's not starting. He has some like maybe a DeAndre Swift. I don't know if he's the starter yet. He's not, right. He's pretty solid though. He has like 10 points a week.
Yeah.
And maybe ship him out for Michael Thomas. So then,
How would you take a James Conner and let's just say Cooper Cup for Michael Thomas if you were the Michael Thomas owner?
would I take James Conner and Cooper Cup?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would take that.
for if you're 0-2 and you're hurting.
Yeah, I would take that. Two startable pieces,
Chris,
two solid startable
for
pieces.
your
I would I would take that too. Being the only tuner, I
mm,
would definitely take that. If I was neutral about it, or if I had a strong enough team to not need to ship him, then I you know what? I think those are two high value players that I'd probably ship him for,
okay.
regardless.
So Michael Thomas, we're seeing RB2, wide receiver 2. Okay.
Yeah, something like
Package.
that.
It has to be a pack. I don't think anybody would give up a stud for Michael Thomas. A hurt.
Mm-mm.
Unless you're like Jonathan, maybe you would give up would you do Julio Jones for Michael Thomas?
Straight up, probably
Straight
not.
up. But you got Calvin Ridley breaking out with all the
Yeah,
touchdowns.
I,
yeah, but Julio's Julio. He's gonna eat. I know
yeah,
last week he didn't really eat, but I feel like he'll still get his. He'll get his targets. He'll
I,
come.
if I didn't, yeah, if I, you know what, I might take that trade just because Jonathan has a bunch of wide receivers,
Hmm.
and then he can sit on Michael Thomas. I think um, this offense doesn't run without. It only runs through Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, so they really need him back. New Orleans, at least.
Any worry about Drew Brees taking a step back this year or no? He's not
Um,
doing that well. He's a year older too.
I
Okay,
think
this
once we'll see. Yeah, next one.
next one is James Conner, but this I guess I put this in before we saw what happened on Sunday, because we saw him just dominate snaps. So
Yeah,
no concern about Benny Snell there. I think we can
He's
just
done
skip.
being a crybaby.
Yeah, I think
Finally getting the ball now.
we can skip over this one. He's our low end RB1. Agree?
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay. CD Lamb. Let's see. It's Cowboys. How are we viewing CD Lamb? Is he breaking out, or is it still Michael Gallup's team?
I mean,
I
I
didn't.
know he out targeted Gallup, right? I think
Yes.
he
Yeah,
did he out target Amari Cooper too? He might have. I don't remember.
Let me pull that
He
up.
had 9 targets,
Yeah,
but I
that's
feel like it was also they were playing behind. They were down big the entire game, so
mm,
I feel like a lot of it was also just game script. So I feel like I would have to sit and see like how how his actual role in the offense is before I try to trade for him if anything.
okay. So he's more like a you don't want him on your roster, but if you have him, you don't want him off your roster. It's just a wait and see.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess you could say that. Yeah.
yeah. I agree with that.
Okay. And this one's for me, James Robinson. You guys go ahead and tell me what do you see James Robinson's value? Because I have trouble. Obviously, I sat him last week because I have trouble
Mhm.
putting a good value on him, so I'm not too sure here.
I think Minshew's hot right now. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars offense looks good and their defense doesn't. So like, there's gonna be points to be scored, and they're using James Robinson, right?
Mhm.
With that being said, I think he's a running back, like low end running back too. Um, I really like James Robinson. I think he's a low end running back too. He's a starting running back. They don't really use Chris Thompson. They didn't use him too much week one. They finally used him last week. Um, and the only question mark I have on James Robinson is the two guys, the one guy on COVID and one guy on IR, like a short
Hmm.
IR. And I think they're both going to be back soon. So I don't know how that muddies up the backfield and what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. Vin?
Um, I have him valued a little higher. I would say like mid-range RB2. Can't you can't argue with the usage. 16 carries both weeks. That's starting backs are valuable. So yeah,
Yeah.
RB2. I don't know what I would give up for him because it's hard to trade for RBs without giving up your own RB. But yeah, I'm pretty high on him.
Yeah,
higher than Chris.
I'd say mid tier RB too, and he's still getting his legs under him. I hope that they'll be throwing to Chark more, so that they'll have to respect Robinson and Chark, and they'll split up the defense a little bit, and he'll get more used to game speed, is what I'm hoping. But I am willing to trade him if for the right price, guys. So
Hmm.
um, all right, we'll have a next segment. It's called Believe It or Not, where each of us has a few Believe It or Not sentences that we're going to ask each other, and the other two will say whether we believe it or not. I'll start us
Hmm.
off.
Go
Um,
ahead.
Believe it or not, Royce actually thinks his team is good.
I don't think he thinks his team is good because he just picked up Keelan Cole for 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me neither. I don't think his team is good. I know Chubb went off this week, but I feel like deep down, even he doesn't trust Chubb that much. I know he's putting up a front right now. Yeah, I'm 2-0, but deep down, we know how he really feels.
Yeah. I think everybody in the room knows that Royce knows his team's is not good. All right, Chris, you have one for us?
Preview of the power rankings. Vinny stays in the bottom third of the power rankings next week. Believe it or not.
Ooh,
I do believe it.
Vinny. Who's he playing this week?
He is.
He's playing
Oh, he's playing
James.
James. Ooh,
I believe it.
in the bottom third, so like 9 and below.
No, like bottom spot.
Yeah.
Oh, bottom spot. Oof. I don't know. Ty's fine for that.
I would say yes, just because looking at the points per game, he is like way below everybody else. Oh no, never mind. Royce only has 96, but he's 2-0.
Yeah, so I'd
Yeah.
say he holds on to that bottom spot for now. So I
Yeah, for
believe
one
it.
more week at least. Especially if Devontae's out, then I would definitely say yes.
For sure.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Vin.
I have one for you guys. It's do you believe the hype of Nick's team?
Ooh.
165, the highest scorer last week.
Man.
Moving up to the number 2 spot in the power rankings too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Which is gonna lead into my question. Actually, also my believe it or not. The next one is Nick stay in the top third of the power rankings. So what do you guys think? You guys buy into this Nick hype?
if he wins next week, we have no choice but to believe it, I think. But as of now, I do not believe it.
Uh,
Go ahead.
yeah, I don't believe it. There's a lot of fluky games. Like, Dak's not going to score 40 every week. Like even Nick himself, as the games were going on, didn't believe it himself. So if he doesn't believe it in himself, how can I believe in him?
Yeah, Higby 2, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a.
Yeah. So I feel like there is some regression coming, but he's in connection with Tom Brady does.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think he stays in the top third. I think he might. He's at number 2, so if he scores enough points, I think he might drop down to like 4.
Oh, I believe he'll stay in the top 3 just based on how well he scored the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But the hype, I ain't believing the hype.
Yeah, I'm not on the hype too. I think there's a lot of people that are going like Philip Lindsay's like giving Melvin Gordon a horse, being a cowboy role now. He has tight end issues, arguably depending on who he starts. Right, he's gonna he might have worse matchups and tight end issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think those are, and then the Dak Prescott hype. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this Dak Prescott hype on the separate note?
I don't know. 3 rushing touchdown. That's
3 rushing touchdowns.
That's fluky to me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that last one, like he had like 6 tries to get it, rush it in himself, and he finally got it on like the 6th try. So I don't think that's gonna happen again. So I don't believe it, But if he beats Chris next week, then I'm forced to believe it.
There is that. There is that. All right. What's up?
I have one. Believe it or not, you have to score 135 or more to beat Marcus. Oh, but he
I
lost
mean,
CMC though.
how could you not believe it though?
Yeah.
140 one week, 160 the next week. Even without CMC, that's like what 25 points. That's still 140, 120.
Yeah,
So I feel like you still got to put on your best game.
Yeah,
yeah.
I really do think I witnessed it, so you gotta put up at least 130. That's what my
At least 130. So
yeah.
Ty's got to put up at least 130 next week to make us all pay out.
No,
We'll
I
see.
can't believe Chris has
We'll see with
Ty
the law.
winning this week against Mike. I can't believe it.
He didn't.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. That's coming up.
All right, all right. Next we'll talk about the power rankings. Right?
Do you have
Any
any more? Do you have
go.
more? Believe it or not,
I don't have any
No,
more. Believe it or not, do you?
I have
nope.
one more. Someone on this waiver wire pickup transaction is a league winner.
Mm.
Oh,
They're gonna end up in the end of the year. Damn, we should have picked them up.
in the way. I
This week's waiver.
don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Um, I don't believe it.
Do
I
you,
do
You
not.
don't believe it?
you know,
The best pickup I think was Colts D, and maybe that's the only answer I would give is Colts D. You would play Colts D in you could play him like rest of the season probably, and make the playoffs. But all these other guys I don't know about.
how
All right.
stupid would we look if Keelan Cole was the believe it or not? How are we so stupid to?
Hey, freezing cold takes, get it ready.
Freezing
Yeah,
cold takes. You know what? All he has to tell us, hey, I got my guy.
That's
yeah.
true.
That's
So
all he has to
What's
tell us.
$50 when you're winning the championship, right?
okay,
All right, move to the next part.
yeah. Rankings disputes. Is there anybody too high or too low on James's week recap?
All right, how do? Oh no, never mind. We're tied. I was gonna say, how do I have level 2 consistency, score 148 points, and I'm behind you, but I forget that we're both number 3. It's just the way it's ordered between you and I.
Yeah. So I think I might be a little bit too high if I'm being honest, but I can also be. I know my bench is I think my bench is deep, but I don't pick the right players to play for the week. So that's the
That's
reason
the
why I
that's
think
the tough having a deep bench. Sometimes there's too many thoughts. Sometimes you just have to have your best player out there and you just kind of throw them in and hope for the best.
yeah. So I think I'm a little bit too high. I
Um,
think go ahead, Vin.
I think James is a little low. I know he lost this week, but
No,
I
he
think
won.
his team is
He beat
pretty.
me.
Oh, he beat you. That's right. He lost the first week, but yeah, I think he's a little low. I would probably put him over myself if I'm being honest right now. How my roster looks.
hmm
That's about it. Everything else looks okay to me.
I might even put you a spot lower too than with Saquon out. I mean, that hurts. And you didn't
Yeah.
really fill that void with anything. I might put you in the bottom 4.
Hey, think about this. Saquon was out early in the game, right?
hmm
And I still scored 123. So
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll get into the matchups. We'll get into
Saquon scored like 2
matchups.
points out of my 123. So the rest is coming from somewhere.
hmm Okay. Well, we'll jump right into the matchups then. So the first matchup is between me and Vin, of course. And so we'll just duke it out here. Vin, who do you have winning this one?
Obviously, I'll take myself.
Okay.
There's no time for panicking. We gotta get right back into it.
Okay, that's the champion mentality.
That's why I got 2 chips.
Uh, so I have myself winning. I seek Saquon out, which is a huge boost to me, and I have
Mhm.
Kenny Galladay coming back. hopefully, that's what the reports are saying. Vin really need you. I think Vin really needs the key matchup here is if Vin finds someone decent to fill in that running back 2 spot and the flex spot,
Mhm.
then I think he's in good shape. But no moves on the waiver wire to fill that spot out.
No moves yet.
No moves yet. So as of now, Vin still just has that big void. So I think I'm looking pretty good.
Yeah. And going back to my other point was that I put up, 125, and I didn't even have AJ Brown that game. So if I get AJ Brown back, my wide receiver one, I think, and probably a lot of people probably are doubting me, but I believe, you gotta believe in yourself. So
Okay.
Absolutely, you gotta believe in yourself. If I had to be the tiebreaker, I'd lead David
Let's go.
just because of Saquon. Um,
yeah,
I thought you would make a move on the waiver this week, but you didn't pull anyone out. So I'm looking forward to see what you're gonna do.
yeah.
Is AJ Brown coming back this week?
Um, no word yet. I mean, I have Humphreys, which I like if AJ Brown is out. So I'm not, I'm not strapped for a receiver as
Gotcha.
bad.
Okay.
And then I think your flex and your running back 2 spots a tough spot, and then it's gonna come down to Kenny G playing for David, and the quarterback's got to duke it out in their Monday night
Monday
game.
night prime
Monday night
time.
miracles all around.
All
All
right.
right. Anything else on this?
Nah.
Nah.
Let's move to the next matchup. We got James and Knee. Yeah, they both in the bottom third, right? Both in the bottom, like the bottom 4 teams right now. So who do you got, Vince? Vincent, who do you got?
I got James winning. I do not like Knee's team at all. I don't like Mixon. I don't like T.Y. Hilton. I don't like Zach Ertz. Adrian Peterson is like he was good week 1. He didn't show up week 2, so it's. But on the flip side, I think James's team is very good. I like Kyler Murray. I like both his RBs. I like Robert Woods. Obviously, I like my boy Hollywood. So I think it won't even be close. I think James takes this easy.
I think it'll be a 50-50 toss-up. I might have the edge going to James also, but I don't think it'll be as big of a blowout. I know Joe Mixon is a bum, but he's supposed. I mean, I hear all this talk about how he's like good. I don't know. I don't watch the tape. He's just bad to me. Jonathan Taylor, however, is good. I think this matchup will depend on if Devontae plays, right? And
Yeah.
and James's flex spot because he has a running back 9 on his bench. I don't know if you guys know this, but Kareem Hunt is the running back 9 through 2 weeks. And so if James has the balls to play Kareem Hunt, that might be the difference in this matchup. So look out for that.
And I agree with you. I'm leaning slightly James. I think it will be a shootout. I think it's going to be a high scoring matchup. Like Vin said, his players on top of his matchups I prefer. And then he has a big question mark in Devontae Adams. So he won't know until late Monday, hopefully. Because I think it's going to be one of those injuries that he won't find out until game day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else about this game?
Nope.
All right, moving on to the next game. I got myself versus Nick. Um, I'll start off just because it is my game. I'm gonna pick myself. Obviously, I think Nick did have the most points last week after bitching all freaking morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He, his starters are hit the stride, like we were talking about, and I think there's gonna be regression from both of us. We both had big time games, high scoring points, so I think there's gonna be regression from both of us. However, I think the matchups are pretty even, if I had to be honest. And I'm looking at tight end / quarterback matchup to make it interesting. Depending on how Dak does, Deshaun does. I did pick up Tannehill, so we'll see what happens there. And then the Logan Thomas and Tyler Higbee shootout. So, what do you guys think?
Go ahead.
I got Chris winning. Chris has scored consistently high last 2 weeks, over 100, over 120, right? Week 1, you scored.
I
You scored
think I won 30 my first week too.
yeah, like 130. So I believe that you're gonna score high again. You have pretty good players. On the flip side, I thought Nick's team was a fluke. He has a solid team, but I don't think he's gonna beat you this week.
Mhm.
Um,
Gotcha.
the interesting thing is he gonna have Godwin back? Godwin might change because he put 160 up without Godwin, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I also think that I have Chris squeaking out a win. I think the key matchup here is Deshaun Watson. I personally don't think you should play him. I don't think he's as good as the other quarterback options on your bench or even on the waiver wire. It's good that you made the move for Ryan Tannehill. I don't think it's it right now for Deshaun Watson. I think he has to get going a little bit. He needs his wide receivers back. Um, and yeah, I'm looking to see if Calvin Ridley continues his hot streak because that's where Chris is making his money. Calvin Ridley is just going berserk. So look to see if Calvin Ridley keeps it going.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood, hoping nothing happens. But he's good. Have you guys watched his tape? Like he's a good football player. I didn't realize he was that good until I was watching like his film this year.
The hype was real. So
Yeah. Also on the Deshaun Watson thing, he's playing Pittsburgh, so
mhm.
it might be a
Yeah,
little rough there.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
made the
The Logan Thomas play might be a little too spicy for me. That's just my opinion.
I put in Jordan Reed last week. That was spicy enough.
That was also spicy. It paid out for you.
That was
I still think
spicy.
you're gonna win, but you got some spicy plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. All right, jumping into the next matchup, we got Michael and Timmy. Where are you at on this, David?
If Timmy keeps Tom Brady in, then I think Timmy goes 0-3 and in contention for the toilet bowl this week
We
because
should,
Tom
we
Brady
should
is
say the
not
top bet
good.
for if Timmy was going to go 0-3.
I think we did. I put one up on the chat.
Oh,
So
okay. I need to fill that one out later.
yeah, so Timmy might be in danger. Oh, we're talking about Ty, but Timmy is the dark horse toilet winner right now, the way his team's constructed. So he's got to get a different quarterback. Then I think he'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna make a move for Tannehill. I'm surprised that he didn't even bid any money on him. He's ride or die with Tom Brady, but it looks like he's gonna die.
I was on Discord with him earlier, and he told me to fuck off pretty much because I put a bid on Tannehill. Yeah, I got Michael winning though. I think Timmy, if he plays Tom Brady, the Tom Brady concerns, I think he needs Kittle back, and he has a tough decision, maybe a problem at wide receiver 2 and flex. So I think those are the things we're gonna look at. And if Mark Ingram has a good week 2 compared to his week 1, if Mark Ingram can perform like he did week 2, I think this is Michael's game to win.
Yeah, I also got Michael. I think the ganja play is rough. Like AJ
Yeah.
Green, it's not look good out there.
Absolutely.
Nope.
And that's not even because I'm the Tyler Boyd owner. I just genuinely believe he wasn't that good. And Ronald Jones, after the Leonard Fournette kind of like breakout performance, I think Ronald Jones is just going to lose more snaps. Not a good position to be in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's in the same position he is with Ronald Jones from last year with Payne Barber, personally, because I was the Ronald Jones owner last year. And you never want to see Ronald Jones in a committee because no way he's going to do well with limited snaps. Right? He's a volume runner, so.
Yeah, he's definitely that kind of volume runner. I agree with that. Yeah, let's next matchup, Ty and Marcus. Who do you got, David?
I think I think I think Marcus is gonna win this one, even with CMC out and not making a move to fill that spot up. I mean, look, if you just go look at Ty's roster
I mean,
right
it's Miles
now,
Gaskin.
this guy, yeah, Ty is starting Frank Gore as his running back too, right? And he's got Mostert hurt, and Michael Thomas is out. I mean, Ty's team is looking rough. I mean, when you got to pick up Frank Gore and play him as a plug and play, it's rough. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I got Marcus winning pretty easily, even without CMC. I think Marcus's team is just too strong all the way around. Yeah, Ty,
Uh,
he doesn't have the facilities, dude, like I said.
you got the facilities, big man. I'm going with, I think Mike Evans is like getting connection with Tom Brady, so I think I can see that breaking out for him. And I've gotta you know
You just gotta
go
make
all
stuff up because you got him winning.
it's because you
I
got to
gotta go
plant your flag,
Yeah,
dude.
you gotta.
the fact that Ty's not gonna go 0-3. He's gotta get his dub. It should have been last week, to be honest, that he got his dub, but Nick boomed. But I think they both don't have the running backs. I think it's gonna be closer than you guys think. You guys have it being a huge mismatch.
Mhm.
Russell Wilson is cooking. Russ is cooking, right? And
But
Yeah.
he's cooking a Metcalf, so it's not good.
You're right.
you never.
You're,
I mean, he threw one touchdown to each person last week, so we'll see, in my opinion. And then it just depends on if his wide receivers can have a boom week, then Ty can look like grab a close dub, maybe sneak away with this. So that's what are the matchups I'm looking at: the wide
all
receiver
right.
2 and the flex.
All right. Fair enough. And
Uh,
our last matchup of the day is Jonathan versus Royce. This is the 5-shot bet, and I have, of course, Jonathan squeaking this one out. Um, I think Jonathan needs at least 2 out of the 3 um, wide receivers to hit to win this one. Jonathan doesn't really have a pretty stable floor, in my opinion. He's too wide receiver reliant. But that being said, I think Royce's team to win needs Drake to show up and some sort of contribution from his wide receivers. But I think it's pretty closer than we've been making it. But I see Jonathan winning this one.
Yeah, I have Jonathan winning too. Royce hasn't scored over 100 both weeks, despite being 2-0. I think Matthew Stafford is very middle of the pack. He probably should have made a play for Tannehill as well. Yeah, Jonathan's running backs are pretty iffy, but yeah, his wide receivers are very strong. But I still think he wins this.
I mean, so that's what I'm looking at, right? Like we know wide receivers can be very boom bust, and that happened to Jonathan last week. I think combined they were all under 10. They're around like 8 points or under.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're keying on all those 3 quote unquote wide receiver ones, with Juju Smith, like those are all arguably wide receiver ones, the strongest threats. So if the defenses are keen on them and can kind of stop them, yes, they are elite talents. That's what's going to happen. The other players are going to eat. So besides Minnesota sucks, but you see Deontay Johnson getting targets, Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage getting targets. So if they don't perform, then I think Royce wins. So I do have Royce winning just because I do like Royce's floor a little bit better than Jonathan.
Yeah, I think I agree. Royce has a floor at around 90 and then a ceiling of around like 95, but but Jonathan's ceiling is at like 130 and his floor is around like 80, so
Yeah. So we'll have to see what
yeah.
for sure.
And
And Vin,
go ahead, Vin.
Oh,
are you-
yeah, just going back to the QB, it's a huge QB mismatch to me. I think I'm big on Josh Allen.
Oh yeah.
dude, Josh Allen is a monster. I should
Yeah.
have taken.
So I feel like even though you guys said like his wide receivers don't show up, I think Josh Allen will still show up, give him a lot of points. Whereas Matthew Stafford, he's just very average. You know,
Mhm.
16-16 both weeks.
He's getting Kenny Galladay back though, so that
Yeah.
might.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that leads to.
Mhm. And
And I mean, it also depends. I think if Kenny G comes back, he'll be in a better spot.
yeah, not 16s every week. I don't think. So and from last week, me and Chris tallied up our accuracy ratings. We're keeping track of our prediction accuracies, so that we're just not spitting out to you guys just our random gut feelings. We're keeping ourselves accountable and giving you guys good picks. So me and Chris are both at 50%. We both got 3 right and 3 wrong last week. So we'll be keeping track, and we'll see by the end of this who has a higher prediction rating. So me and Chris are both at 50% right now.
You want to do a weekly shot bet on those?
Um, like what?
On the accuracy ratings, whoever is more accurate doesn't take a shot, or whoever is less accurate has to take a shot.
On a per week basis or over the?
Yeah, on a per week basis.
All right, I'm down for that.
Okay.
All right, what do we
From
do
now,
on a 50-50 split then?
we both take a
We
shot.
both take shots.
All right, fine. All right, we'll pay out next week then. And we have a new segment. It's roast. So, you guys send in roast on the roast forms, and we'll just read them out completely anonymous, except
Unfiltered.
yeah, unfiltered, completely anonymous. Except, I think it's pretty obvious who wrote some of these. So, that being said, you want to start us off on our first one,
Um,
Chris?
okay. Oh yeah. I'll read the first one. The first one is F Nick, and then one more time F Nick.
Yeah, two.
Two people sent that in.
Yeah,
Two people sent that in.
or one person sent it in twice. Arvin, you want the next one?
Can I read the third one actually?
The third
I
one?
want to read the third one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll read the second one. Tell Jonathan to get good. All right. So Jonathan, get good.
All right, and this one says, "F Nick, this is Royce."
Not obvious who sent that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
not obvious. And then the next one is. All right, go ahead, Chris.
All right. Imagine being up by a point, having two players and benching them. You're gonna wish you started them when it comes down to the playoffs, and you tie with someone and don't make it due to points. Pussy.
That one, I think we all know who that one is from.
Well, these aren't really anonymous.
Yeah, and also there's one that I forgot to write down on the document. It's at David Johnson and DJ Chark for Kamara Keck W. I was just it was just one of my trades I was giving to Nick when one of his players got hurt. Just testing him out, just testing the
Hey,
rook out.
it's the Rook, man. I almost got Zeke if it wasn't for you guys. So test the Rook out.
I'm just testing the rook out. So good job, Nick. You passed.
I also one more roast. My roast I didn't put on. One more time, F Nick.
Oh, F Nick.
Just in case you guys wanted to know.
And I'll throw a F Nick in there too for this.
Yeah, one of those anonymous F Nicks that Chris read earlier was from me. So you already read my F Nick out loud.
All right. Some more mailbag questions we have. Just to wrap this up. Oh, two more segments. We have our last mailbag questions. What are your initial reactions with the move to a 12-team league? Any surprises or wishes? Vin, what do you think with this adjustment from?
Yeah. One thing I'm surprised about is how high everyone's scoring. I thought like you move to 12 man, you get like less
Mhm.
high profile players on your team. You got to start more lower tier players. You would think that you would score less, but everyone's scoring really high. We got like 160s, a couple 160s, a lot of 130s. So that was pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the strange preseason that we've had this year too. players aren't getting reps, defenses aren't getting tackles in, and so like the offensive players are just eating. So I think that kind of plays a role, but I was expecting like 80s to like 100s, kind of like what we had last year.
I agree with that. I thought the borderline right now was 100 points and you'd get a dub. You know, like,
Mhm.
all right, if I score 100 points this week, I'm chilling. Like you know, I can hope for a win. But now everyone is shooting really high. I do agree that defenses don't have enough film. You know, there's a lot of like new offensive coaches. There's a lot of other stuff, and I'm sure like, you know, you're drawing film from like who knows where. You know, like who knows where the coach went, what the new system is, and like the NFL is such a copycat league. Like you don't know who gets what and what's going to get picked up and what defenses are going to read into what yet. So I think the points will go down over time, but I think it's going to take some time.
And kind of piggybacking off of this question, what do you guys think of sleeper apps so far?
I'm okay with it. I kind of like that. You know, we all laugh at like the cap reactions and all that. We all laugh at that. But you know, I like how the app looks. It's pretty nice. I know week
Mhm.
1 it was kind of like slow, but I think for the most part, week 2 it was all fixed, right? So
Mhm.
it was pretty good after that.
What do you
Yeah,
think about
Plus,
it?
plus all the custom rules that we have in our league, so it's pretty nice.
I just don't like how looking at teams is hard now. You have to click on every single one individually. There's no
Oh
like
yeah,
scroll function.
yeah. I
And
wish there was like a better, because you know how NFL.com had like the live game day scoring,
yeah,
where you set all the matchups up and
uh-huh.
you just click. I kind of wish there was something like that
You
for
could just
sleeper.
scroll through it too,
Yeah.
like full roster.
So if there was something like
Yeah,
that for sleeper, that would have been cool, but that's not too big of a deal.
And I hate how it pops out as a window instead of just being on my screen. You know?
oh
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
think the web browser is worse than the app. I feel like they made this
oh yeah. The
into
web browser is not that good.
um,
You don't
And
even have your mascot on the web browser.
yeah. And I don't even and I kind of liked, I don't know if you guys did this, I kind of liked reading the NFL articles that came out every week about starting and sitting on the front page of the app.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like reading that. But
gotcha.
anyways, next question.
But what one wish
Oh,
I thought was gonna happen, and I wish that will happen moving down the road, is that in a 12-man league, I thought our benches would be messed up, and with injuries now happening in week 2, I wish there would be more trades.
mhm.
I just want more action. So hopefully next week during our next podcast, we can be talking about some trades going on and stuff.
Yeah. I also thought COVID would be more of a big deal this year too. We haven't had too much COVID type um, spread. So I think only like Ryquell, Armstead, or whatever had COVID. So that was like one of the only ones that we got to use that spot for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Next question is, who is one player you hate to love? Like one player you're rooting for, but you do not want to root for them at all.
I can go because I have one. It's James Conner. I think obviously because I'm a Ravens fan and I hate the Steelers,
hmm
but I got to root for James Conner to do well for the sake of my team.
hmm I also have one. It's Ezekiel Elliott. I hate the Cowboys like with a burning passion. Like with even with when we were there playing the Rams week 1, after Elliott got the quick 2 touchdowns in the first quarter or first half, I told him to stop. I don't want any more points. I'm good at 20. Just give the Rams the dub now. You gave me the dub in my league, now just let the Rams get the dub. And the Rams pretty much didn't give him any more points in the second half, so that was pretty good.
I don't think I have one
It
that I
is a
hate to love.
You hate to love? Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I love football, man. Like everything about football, I love. There's no like drama queens really that you know stick out to me as a personality. So I love watching. Yeah, I don't really hate to love anyone right now. I'll come back to me. I'll think about it.
All right. What about players you love to hate, Vin?
Joe Mixon.
I,
I hate that guy.
yeah, I hate Joe Mixon too. He's like a straight up bum.
I don't know how Joe Mixon scams fantasy owners every year and drafted him in the first round. But
Yeah,
here he is again, scamming more fantasy owners.
yeah. Yeah, Joe Mixon was also mine. Who else do I love to hate? I also don't like David Montgomery for whatever reason. So
You know what? I can agree with you there. I'm not a big David Montgomery fan either.
for
Yeah.
it's like the normal American names that we don't like. You know, David
Joe
Montgomery,
Mixon?
Joe Mixon. Like it's like we don't like those. They just seem so plain. But what about you, Chris?
I would say David Montgomery. I'll go back to who I hate to love. I guess it'd be T.Y. Hilton because he fucked me last year.
T.Y. Hilton.
I
Okay.
love him so much. I hate it just because he didn't get the top 5 wide receiver ranking. I was hoping he would.
All right, and we're running a little long tonight, so really quickly, the tips for the last place team, which are currently Ty, Ngee, and Timmy.
Stay off IR as
Yeah,
as David would
Take
say.
it from me. Stay off IR.
yeah. And y'all should probably hit us up for some trades, to be honest. Before,
Yeah, go out there and make some moves.
yeah, go out there and make some moves.
And also, don't get tilted. Timmy.
Yeah.
Timmy specifically. Don't get
Timmy
tilted.
should full tilt, dude. His season's done, dude. He's gonna
And for Ngee hasn't spent a single dollar of fab either, so Ngee should probably start spending soon. So that's it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, everybody.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody. Have a good
luck
week.
this week. Thanks for coming on, Vin. I hope you had fun. It's been
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get you back on later. All right, thank you,
Sure.
everybody. See ya.
All right.
Later.